Ladies and gentlemen, children of the interwebs out there, especially in strong style, Cinephile, Superman Lois, episode 2. Now, this episode had a few cool things going for it, so let's geek about it for a scant few minutes. Now, we finally got to the bottom of what's going on with Sarah and Jordan and their relationship. We were thinking had to be something at camp. She got involved with like somebody else that was there. Logic kind of, I guess, would think that I thought maybe she was going through her bad boy phase and she found like some older dude at the camp or whatever. Turns out it was a girl. A friend of hers that she was cool with. Apparently things went a little bit over friendship lines and they kissed. We don't know if anything else happened. I guess Sarah says that's all that happened, but can we actually believe her in this instance? So she tells Jordan, and Jordan is of course heartbroken. She says it was nothing, yada, 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 same thing. What becomes of them remains to be seen. I doubt Jordan is going to stick with her, and then Sarah's burgeoning bonding with Natalie could make that awkward because there's a couple awkward things with her, because in the beginning of the episode, Lois tries to make the Irons feel at home, makes this big breakfast. Apparently Natalie is vegan, so that didn't go over very well, and Lois talks to Henry kind of about it later on in the episode, and he just says, you know, you gotta get to know her, but it might take some time because she is kind of not trusting right out the gate of people, plus, you know, the fact that Lois looks like her mother and stuff, so that's gonna be some awkwardness going forth. But she's apparently super adept at machines, and I'm wondering if that is kind of laying some possible sidekick groundwork down the road. So it's going to end up with her own super suit. So maybe if her dad doesn't keep on being Steel, maybe she's going to be like a version of Steel, you know, somewhere in season 3, or I say probably how Arrowverse shows go. If they're still on a limited episode count, maybe like the back half of season 3 is when we'll see her suit up. Or maybe something will happen where she has to suit up sooner. Maybe this whole Doomsday thing is going to happen, because now we figure out that Clark's visions is things that he's going through, which messes him up a couple times in this episode, once at the breakfast and once when he actually try to stop a terrorist who's super strong off of ex-kryptonite gas that apparently General Lane was selling off to people. His vision is tied to this thing coming out of the mines. There's some seismic activity that kind of coincides with his visions and stuff. We know it's Doomsday already down there. We see Doomsday coming out. He kills some people. One of the miners tries to bury him in the mine, and we know that he's coming. So it remains to be seen kind of when he pops out. When he was going through that second bout of visions and stuff like that, he was saved by the DOD men, and one of the kids, Tag, which we know from the first season, who's barely 18, he's on the team. Clark says, hey, that's not cool. DOD guys, like, if you're not with us, then hopefully you figure out everything out. We're not gonna give you backup. We're not gonna provide you with medical help and, you know, figuring out your issues. You're just on your own. So again, like I said in the previous episode, it remains to be seen how long it takes for this DOD men thing to go out. Are they going to be aimed directly at Clark at some point? Or are they going to be sent out there against Doomsday once he fully emerges and just get wrecked? That's what I think is probably going to happen. But again, remains to be seen on that front. You had Superman go to his brother for answers. We end up going to his Fortress of Solitude. We see this AI, you know, of their mother, who is different from the AI that was in Clark's Fortress of Solitude. So that was interesting. Kind of see that Tao clearly has some mommy issues to work out, and it kind of feeds into him attacking Jordan trying to stand up for himself, helping his dad, again, kind of showing that he has some semblance of control over his burgeoning powers. So again, it remains to be seen kind of where that's going to go. Again, with Natalie, with Jordan, are we throwing out some more, like, some sidekick sort of, you know, crumbs out there? This is Arrowverse, so they're going to be sidekicks. It's just a matter of when they're coming. So remains to be seen on that front. With Jonathan, he's clearly feeling just inadequate when it comes to football and just his performance. But apparently the dude that's shining bright is on steroids. So is Jonathan going to try to root him, like expose him for that? Is he ready for the consequences that comes with exposing, kind of being a narc on his, you know, teammate doing steroids? Is he going to maybe go to his mom for maybe tips on how to find things that's going to, you know, make an investigator out of him remains to be seen. I'd be interested in that. Speaking of investigations, we've got some things going on with Lois, where a past story that she did that involved her sister and a cult and almost killing herself is coming back to bite her because somebody is changing their story, perhaps. Now, is that someone Lucy Lane? And again, as I said in the previous video, this season, a report said that we were going to get kind of more into the Lanes and kind of what makes them tick, some more of their history, their issues. We found out about Lois and their mother just leaving, so now we have this issue where Lucy almost killed herself, and that puts friction between Lois and Lucy when the story came out, and that sort of thing. So is Lucy recanting her story? For what reason? Remains to be seen. I am interested. There's just drama all around. And then you have Lana with the mayor dude who decides to drop out of the race for, Daniel, whatever his name is, decides to drop out of the race for whatever reason, got some offer in another city. His family's been through so much. So I'm thinking that the mayor pulled some strings, the existing mayor, who's afraid of losing his seat. First time he's been opposed in like 10 years or something like that, he said. So I'm thinking he was afraid of losing his seat, so he pulled some strings, got this dude a job, maybe found out some stuff about him, some dirt, the reasons why his families and him have, been going through some things, been through so much in recent years. Maybe the dude stepped out or whatever. That dirt was about to come to the surface, so he decides to just back out. And as soon as that happened, I was like, oh, Lana's gonna run. Which of course, now she is. So it remains to be seen kind of how that political race is going to go. If, previous dirt with her husband is gonna come up, which is gonna cause friction between them, her chances of winning. So this is, and just going by the episode description of the next episode, there's going to be some arguing here and there, some friction between all the characters. So it remains to be seen kind of how that goes. And again, is it going to stick with, because my thing with this show is that everything feels natural. The relationships, the arguments, the disagreements that they have, it feels natural. It feels like actually developing stuff. It's not just, let's have conflict for the sake of this 60-minute episode and then everybody's fine. It's of no consequence for the next episode or whatever. So it remains to be seen as all this stuff is carried out. This friction that seems to be happening is going to be carried out in the next episode. Does it feel earned? Does it stay there? Are there consequences? Are there developments? Are there evolutions for certain characters because of this conflict? Or is it just going to be, this is going to be a fight episode where I have everybody fight and everybody's going to be fine and kumbaya the next episode? I really hope it's not, but I do have faith in the writers and the showrunner with what they've given us so far. So again, like I said, lots of stuff going on in this episode, lots of awkwardness here and there. Sarah and Nat bonding, so Jordan's gonna have awkwardness in that. They break up. You have Lois and Henry and that sort of thing where he's trying to adjust living on the same farm as this chick who looks like his dead wife, who is married to the dude that killed his dead wife. And then it's just a lot of stuff kind of going on. But it all feels like fine to me. I trust the writers with this show. It's more than I could say for other shows that I watch, that I do videos of. But for me, Lois and Clark, Superman and Lois, like these writers have my full trust and faith that they can pull off and they can stick the landing. So that's what I always talk about. Can they stick the landing? I think with this show, they can stick the landing. Remains to be seen though. So anyway, those are my thoughts on it. Scattered as they often are. What do you guys out there think? Let me know in the comments below. Follow me on social media. Talk to me there. Talk to me here. Until next time, let us geek.